Hey everyone, I'm Brett, and welcome to Nightwood Guns. Have a really fun video for you today. I reviewed the Smith & Wesson M&P Carry Comp, the compact polymer framed variant. I wanted to see if I could do a little better than this and see if I could put together something that I believe the Performance Center should have put out instead. And this is what I came up with right here, and I'm really excited to share this with you guys. It's a really cool build. So in today's video, I'm going to compare the Carry Comp to the one that I put together to see how they perform when it comes to recoil mitigation and speed and accuracy on a timer. And be sure to stay tuned because later on I even toss an OEM non-ported, non-comped barrel into this thing to see how much of a performance increase there is between all three of the barrels. Like, I basically just wanted to answer the question, is it a waste of time dealing with all these special variants, or should you just get a standard model? Playing with this kind of stuff can be really interesting, but is it really going to sway the outcome of a gunfight? Well, we'll see. Now, I did most of today's testing with Buffalo Creek ammo. Buffalo Creek's ammunition has been my go-to choice for training ammo. Really like the stuff, and there's something on screen that'll help you out if you'd like to check it out. And of course, like, comment, and subscribe. I know everybody asks to do that, but it really does help support the channel. If you'd like to support the channel further, the links in the description below are the place to be. That's where you can find my Patreon and my super awesome short novels. Now, also a disclaimer to my manual reviewer. There is nothing on these guns that in any way changes the way that they fire or operate. These are both normal, semi-automatic pistols, nothing crazy or dangerous at all. It's like changing the tires and the mirrors on your car. It's not going to turn your Honda CR-V into a Formula One race car. Like, come on. So first of all, the Carry Comp, we have an Apex trigger in there, which I consider to be a mandatory upgrade for M&Ps. It's the big advantage to an M&P. This is the best striker fire trigger on the market, in my opinion. Now, specifically the Apex for the M&P, not all Apex triggers are created equally. Now, these aren't mandatory, but I chose to add lower 1/3 co-witness sights to this because it didn't come with them. I also have the DPM system in here, which is now available. If you already have a Carry Comp, get a DPM system. It really helps level it out. And if you watched my review on this, which if you haven't, I'll link it up there. It's a really good review. Highly recommend you check it out. But if you watched it, you will notice I have a different optic plate on here. Just a little announcement. I had a C&H Precision optic plate on here that failed. But we'll talk about this optic plate a little later. I also have a Holosun 507 comp mounted on this. It's what I put on all of my bigger than micro pistols. Now, this one that I put together, you'll see that a lot of the features are the same. Holosun 507 comp, Apex trigger, of course. And much like the Carry Comp, I have a DPM recoil reduction system in here just to help reduce the violence in the slide movement, just gain an extra 1% of performance. I did not have to change out the sights because this standard optic ready model came with lower 1/3 co-witness sights from the factory. Now, the plate on here is my #1 recommended plate. If you need a plate for any gun that they make one for, it is the Calculated Kinetics Dog Tag. Hands down my favorite plate, and really the only one that I recommend. This has been completely solid. It even has a little shelf right here to deflect some of the blast from the loaded chamber indicator. The C&H Precision plate that I was running on this one ended up getting shot loose. It was torque to spec, blue Loctited down, and there was so much play in the plate with enough recoil after a couple thousand rounds, it just loosened up the screw, started rattling, and lost 0. So do yourself a favor and get a Calculated Kinetics plate. And the moment you've all been waiting for, this has the Monsoon Tactical Lucky 7's ports. A lot of you have been demanding to see these ports on the channel for a long time. Well, here they are, finally got to run them, and I'm excited to show you what they can do. So Monsoon Tactical did the cut in the slide and the ports in the barrel, and the barrel is an Apex Gunsmith Fit Match Grade barrel. If you watched my ports versus compensators for EDC video, if you haven't, I'll link it up there because it's probably one of the best videos I've ever made. Unfortunately, it has limited reach and was demonetized, so. But if you watch that video, you will know that sometimes ported barrels can lose accuracy, typically because it's shaving off some of the jacket on the bullet in the ports on the way out the barrel. That's my suspicion, at least. Could also be gases leaving before the bullet's uncorked. Could be, throwing it one way or another. Either way, accuracy can get hurt a little bit. So I wanted to see if porting a match grade barrel would help with accuracy, so we'll take a look at that too. And I also want to shout out Wright Armory in Mesa, Arizona. They did a beyond perfect job fitting this match grade barrel. Now, Monsoon Tactical, after cutting your slide, will re-Cerakote it for you, and look at how good of a job they did on this multicam black finish. So now that we know the players, let's hop into the game. So right off the bat, I wanted to compare the recoil impulse in these two guns. And without a doubt, the Monsoon Tactical Lucky 7's ports were softer shooting and the dot moved less in the window. And it also shot a little bit flatter, but I could definitely feel the difference in hand. Now, I also think that showing how they shoot one-handed can be telling as to how soft shooting they are in slow motion. So here they are one-handed. I don't know if you can tell, but it definitely felt like the Monsoon Lucky 7's ports were shooting softer and flatter than the carry comp. And also a quick observation I had during my testing is that the Lucky 7's ports actually handled plus P ammunition way better than the carry comp. And I think the carry comp isn't as effective as it can be because they backboard the port a little bit. That way no spalling will come out of that port. But the problem is it's not as tight in there when the bullet passes through, so that might affect how gas is vented. Now, exactly how much softer shooting was the Monsoon Tactical Lucky 7's ports? I mean, I would call it noticeable, but again, enough to sway the outcome of a gunfight. We'll have to do some more testing on that. But right now, I want to talk about accuracy because this is pretty interesting with this build. Now, you might remember from the carry comp video that I shot about a fist-sized group at 25 yards with this from the bench. Well, a somewhat stable bench, but still, fist-sized group with this one. But with the Apex barrel, even though it was ported, I just stacked 2 rounds right out of the box from the same exact shooting platform that I shot the carry comp from. But it goes to show that if you port a gunsmith fit match grade barrel, you're going to get near match grade performance out of it still. All right, we talked about recoil, we talked about accuracy. Now let's test both of those together on a timer. So I shot bill drills from concealment at 7 yards. If you don't know what a bill drill is, it is 6 shots to what is typically the A zone of a target. The targets I'm using are FBI targets, and it has a much more demanding center zone. But with the Monsoon Tactical Lucky 7's ports, you can see that I ran it decently fast, and all of my hits were in that center area. It was actually pretty easy. I didn't have to try very hard to do it. So after that, I tossed in an OEM non-ported barrel to see how it would compare. Now, I wanted to make sure I shot them all at about the same cadence. That way I could see how they actually performed on target when rapid firing. So I shot the OEM barrel at the same speed, and the group opened up a little bit, and 3 rounds just went a little bit high, but overall they were all decent hits. I'm certainly not unhappy with it, but it's clear that the Monsoon Tactical Lucky 7's ports just performed better. And finally, I shot the carry comp, and I shot it at the same speed. My draw to first shot was a little slower, but the actual shooting itself was the same cadence. Now, 4 rounds were really tight, just like the Monsoon Tactical Lucky 7's ports, but I had a line break on the right, and I had one that went pretty high and to the left. Now, I know this isn't a perfect test. There can be some human error involved, but my takeaway from this is that the Monsoon Tactical Lucky 7's ports were easier to keep on target when shooting at speed. When you compare the Lucky 7's ports to the carry comp, the difference is noticeable. When you compare the Lucky 7's ports to the OEM barrel, the difference is pretty darn noticeable. But when you compare the performance of the carry comp to the OEM barrel, the performance gap is starting to get pretty small. Simply put, both the OEM barrel and the carry comp had a couple of flyers from me shooting at that speed, while the Lucky 7's ports were all exactly where I wanted them to go. Now, shooting at that speed, could I perform just as well with the carry comp and the OEM barrel? Yeah, sure, give me another try. I can do it. Just have to ride the lightning a little more. My point is that it's easier, noticeably easier, to run this. So this in OEM configuration is 590, and the carry comp is 750. Now, do I think that you're squeezing that much performance out of the carry comp over this in its OEM configuration? I would say no. But it's a cool gun, and if you like cool guns and want a cool gun, I say go for it. But if you're getting this one because it's performance center and you want a high performance pistol, then I would start looking at this direction. So this one, if you skipped doing the match grade barrel, you had a comparable barrel to this one, you just ported an OEM barrel at Monsoon Tactical, you're looking at a total of about $865. Now that's more expensive, but I genuinely think you're getting that much more performance out of this setup. Now there are a couple of downsides to moving in the Monsoon Tactical direction versus the OEM carry comp direction, and that is 1, you are probably voiding warranty by going this way, whereas this one is going to be covered by the lifetime warranty. The second con is that when you port a barrel instead of this kind of backboard design here, it could spit out some spalling. So if you have to shoot this thing, let's say from retention in your vehicle, you could get some spalling in your eyeballs and blind yourself for life. Ah, the sacrifices we make for the best possible performance. If you've made it this far in the video and you're enjoying yourself, double check to make sure you are subscribed to the channel, hit that like, thumbs up button, and leave a comment down below, even if it's just an emoji. Every little bit helps. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, everyone. It was great seeing you again, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Brett, and this was Nightwood Guns. Nightwood out.